This is the second part of the tutorial series on coloring a character in Blender. In the previous video, we went as far as adding color to the character's face and clothing. This time, we'll go as far as creating the iris image using Blender. The key point is that we'll represent the eye by applying an image of the iris onto a mesh. The eye image will be created using Blender's Vertex Paint feature. Let's get started right away. First, duplicate the iris mesh by pressing Shift+D to create one for the texture image. Press the M key to move the duplicated iris to a new collection in the Scene collection, and name the duplicated iris Tex_eyes. The mirror modifier is not needed, so go ahead and delete it. Press Slash to switch to local view. Switch the display mode to solid view. Next, switch the display to flat shading so that shadows are not shown. After that, switch to Vertex Paint mode from here. Now, by dragging the mouse, you can paint colors onto the mesh. First, paint the darkest base color. Press the N key to open the side panel, then use the color picker under the Tool tab to select a dark black color. Since we want to apply the color as a solid fill, change the fall-off type to flat. You can easily adjust the brush radius by holding down the F key and moving the mouse. You can save a color you've used once for future use. Open the color palette, click New to create a new palette, and then click the plus button to add the current color. This will save the color here in the palette for later use. Next, let's paint a slightly lighter shade of black over the dark base color. At this point, let's check the vertices of the mesh. In the Object Properties panel, check Wireframe under Viewport Display to view the mesh's vertices. This will allow you to see the current vertices and how the mesh is subdivided. To create a higher resolution image by increasing the number of vertices, we'll increase the mesh subdivisions. Switch to Object Mode, and to display the current color information, change the color type to Vertex. Press the Tab key to enter Edit mode, and switch to Vertex Select mode. Click on this vertex, then Alt+click on an edge in this area to select the entire edge loop. Press the X key and select Dissolve Edges to remove the outer edges for now. Next, select the vertices in this area, scale them inward, and insert a loop cut between them. From the Modifiers tab, add a Subdivision Surface modifier and set the subdivision level to around 1, then apply it. Since the corners are still a bit sharp, add another Subdivision Surface modifier to smooth them out further. Set the subdivision level to around 2 to make the surface smoother. Now that the number of vertices has increased, we'll start painting the colors again. Switch to Vertex Paint mode from here, and start painting with the slightly lighter black color. When in Vertex Paint mode, you can paint along the edges like this. This time, let's paint a slightly bluish color toward the lower part. Now, let's switch back to object mode. Turn off the wireframe option in the object properties, and then render the scene to create the texture. To render the Vertex Paint color information, you need to render the viewport shading as it is, preserving the color display from the Vertex Paint. You can do this by going to the View menu and selecting Viewport Render Image. Before that, since the background grid lines are unnecessary, uncheck Grid under the Guides section to hide them. If needed, also uncheck Origins and 3D Cursor to keep the viewport clean. To make the background transparent, go to the Render Properties, open the Film section, and check the Transparent option. In this state, proceed by selecting Viewport Render Image from the View menu. After rendering, go to Image greater than Save As, then choose a file name and make sure to select PNG format with RGBA to preserve transparency. Finally, save the file. Let's reset the screen settings back to their original state. Check the grid option again, uncheck Transparent, and press / to exit local view. Set the shading mode back to Matte Cap. The mesh that was duplicated to create the eye texture is no longer needed in the main scene, so we'll press M to create a new collection named Image and move the mesh there for storage. That concludes the explanation for this video. From here, we can assign a new material to the character's eye mesh and apply the eye image we created, allowing us to represent the eye visually. At that time, to apply the eye image, created on a flat plane, onto a 3D mesh, you can use a technique called UV editing to correctly map the image onto the surface. This ensures that the texture fits the shape and orientation of the mesh appropriately. Thank you for watching until the end.